how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So you attended the PSM2 class, and we did a lot of exercises. Can you tell us about the TRIZ exercise?
The TRIZ exercise is my favorite exercise. I think it's probably the best exercise that we did in the 2 days that we were in class. What do you want to know about it?
Well, tell us a little bit about the structure of the exercise.
So the exercise is intended to get people thinking of destructive scenarios in order to reach other kinds of conclusions. So what we did in class was all of the ways that we could sabotage a product owner. And the intention of this exercise is really to, instead of focusing on things that we should do better or things that we do bad, it's all of the things that we could do if we had free reign just to do whatever we could in a destructive way. So in our exercise that we did for the product, how to sabotage the product owner, it was really around how are all the ways that we would do that. And it was a lot of fun of coming up, well, I wouldn't pay any attention to the priority that he said of the backlog because, you know, who cares about backlog priority and value? And, you know, I'm going to write what I want. I'm going to release what I want and kind of going through that exercise.
And we're going to lock out product owner out of retrospectives.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who needs a product owner to give feedback, right?
Right.
So that's the first part of the exercise. The second part of the exercise is a sobering moment. And the reason it's sobering is because the first part of the exercise is really intended to create pretty much almost like unconditional safety. And the exercise, like, there's no wrong answer. If you were going to do this, what would you do? The second part of the exercise is what are you actually doing? And even in our class and in an exercise that I had run after that, I ran this exercise with the team. There's a sobering kind of moment where everybody has to confront that while they may have been thinking about things that they were doing before, the things that they're doing now, and to have to be honest in that moment. Like, what are the things we're really doing? And when we did it in class, it's like, well, what are we doing? And being able to reflect back. When I was doing the exercise of what are all the things that my team, what is my team doing to sabotage the product owner? Because we had a new product owner.
You went from max spec to min spec.
Yes.
Right? And it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that you need to create unconditional safety when you create max spec. That's very important. So, and I know that you took this exercise to your real team in your real workplace. Tell us more about it. How did it go?
So I had been with my team for a while, so there was no trust issue with us. We did have a couple of new people in the room that wouldn't have been as trusted. And this team was also undergoing an organizational change where one company had acquired another and then they were doing some shifting around that space. So I would say that the culture became constrained as far as being able to be outspoken and safe like it had been in the past. I had seen a level of regression in the team. And so when we did this exercise in class, I'm like, oh, I am so doing this exercise with my team when I get back.
And you did.
And I did. And it was, I had to convince the team, even though I had been with them, it's okay to write these things down. So I had asked them a question and it was like, well, we can't write that down. And it's like, no, you can. You can write anything down that you want. And I had to really kind of reemphasize the fact nobody's taking pictures, nobody's taking notes. This isn't going to jeopardize your standing. This is an exercise. Trust the process. And that really became really important in my take back. And when we did that, it was okay. When they finally started writing stuff down, it was hilarious. Lots of laughter, the tension kind of released in the room, and then getting to step two, which is what are these things that we're actually doing? you could hear a pin drop. It was stark and it was wow. And it was really to trust the process. And I had to, even in that step, say, we're not done here. We're not going to stay in step 2, but we have to actually think about the things that we're really doing as a team. And then we'll get to the next step, but trust this part. And then walk them into that. And it really created a situation where we were able to have some really honest conversation that had been suppressed because of the environmental changes that had happened. And it was uncomfortable, and it was okay. It was healthy conflict, and it really needed to have something surface in that conversation. It was really good. And then step 3 of that was so you do, what would you do? What are you doing? And then step 3 is, what are you going to do about it? You can create very meaningful one-to-one things even about how you're going to correct some of the things that you saw that you were doing to overcome the limitations that were identified. And getting to that point is very helpful, and getting the team to really kind of rally. In step 1, it's everybody kind of a free-for-all thinking about destructive things that they would do. I would do such and such. Then step 2 forces the min-spec, like you said, but it also forces the team collectively to think together, what are they doing together to create these issues. And so step 3 becomes where the whole team collaborates to identify the ways they're going to stop doing those things. It's really important, and it can be sourced with I will stop or we will stop. Even if they're contributing individually to those issues, they can make it personal, but collectively in the team is we will stop doing these things, or we will continue to do things that avoid that scenario.
One thing that I would add, it's a good thing that you identify the behaviors that you want to stop. Probably more useful to identify the actions that you need to take. This is towards actions. We want to do this rather than we want to stop this. Because when you say, I want to do this is more sticky than when you say, I want to stop doing something. So it sounds like the team found out a lot of things, and there were some learnings for the teams. What some learnings did you take out as a Scrum Master?
So I was really excited to do it because I knew it was going to be hard, and it was going to force a hard conversation that needed to happen. I want to add, as part of this exercise, even if you're facilitating it, you're not excluded from contributing to step 1 and step 2 or step 3. You're part of a team. And even if you're kind of on the sideline of it, you can still contribute to things that you see. So it's not exclusive. It's not an exclusive exercise. What I really learned from it was that there's a moment that it will become uncomfortable. And it's really important to stay that course, to get the conversation going and to keep the safety going, because safety can drop in step 2. You know, you kind of have some level of artificial safety because it's a free-for-all. In step 2, it goes internal. You know, these are all the things we can do, and then it goes internally to the team with what they're doing. You have to continue to be strong and to maintain the safety in the team to go, okay, we're not going to stay.
So it sounds like a very useful exercise. The team and you learned a lot. And if you were to give one tip to those who will be doing it after they see this video, what would that be?
To not be afraid of the exercise. You will possibly have team members. I had a couple people on the team that are introverted. They don't want to think about destructive things. They want to be very positive, and it was uncomfortable for them. And depending on personality type or how safe they feel or secure they feel in the environment to do the exercise, it's really important to be aware of that and to read the room and to understand that, okay, this is going to be uncomfortable. I had warned the team, this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but we're going to do it anyway. And so as a facilitator or as a coach of doing that, you have to be willing to commit to the exercise all the way through, no matter what comes out of it.
Well, thank you for your time today, and thanks for your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you.